Did you have anything else in the car of value? My hair equipment. I had a leather coat. My hair equipment and I had hair supplies, hair equipment with me. Miss Frederick, I'm going to hand you what has been previously marked as Government's Exhibits 518-0853, 519-0853, 520-0853, and 521-0853. Do you recognize those? Yes, it's a rental. And is that the rental car that you were driving on the day of the carjacking? Yes. Your Honor, the United States moves to admit Government's Exhibits 518, 519, 520, and 521-0853. No objection. Admitted without objection. Ms. Etienne, could you please publish 518? Is this the rental car? Yes. What kind of car is it? I guess it's a Chevrolet. It's a white car. A white Chevy? Yeah. Could we see 519, please? And is this the same Chevy Sonic? Yes. And it had Texas plates? Yeah. 520, please. Is this the inside of the car? Yes. And 521. Is that the back seat of the car? Yes. And I kept on calling to see if I could get my supplies in my coat, and it's over here. I never even received that. I really like that coat, too. Miss Etienne, could we please see what has previously been admitted as Government's Exhibit 106-0853? Miss Frederick, does this depict the scene on March 20th, 2014? I mean, it looks familiar. Miss Etienne, could you please publish Government Exhibit 110-0853? Miss Frederick, do you recognize this person? Yes. Who is this? The person that hijacked me and took the vehicle. He had the hoodie on too, so he stole the car and the money. Miss Frederick, I'm going to hand you what has previously been marked as Government's Exhibits 103-0853, 104-0853, and 105-0853. Could you take a moment and read through those? Which one? I see that you get the address, so I can pay anything. Do you recognize what those are? I'm talking to Scope, as Maxwell. And you called Scope Maxwell? Yes. And are these text messages between you and Scope? Yes. Your Honor, I move to admit Government Exhibits 103, 104, and 105-0853. No objection. Admitted without objection. Ms. Etienne, could you please publish 103? Could you zoom in on the date, please? Ms. Frederick, what date is this? April 6th, Sunday, April 6th. So this is after the carjacking on March 20th, 2014? Yes. And what are you and Scope discussing here? I guess the site so I can look and see what car I wanted. And I believe I probably, because I saw some pictures, so I was discussing which kind. And could we see 104, please? What are you saying here about your purse? Well, I already suspect that he's involved with it. So I was just saying how it was so important that, because I had money orders, so much valuable stuff was in my purse. And also information just to, hopefully they would have pity because I had my social security, my kids' information all in the purse. And he was actually saying, well, you never know. We could go look around that area. They probably just threw it all over the floor or something like that. So it just really showed me clearly like he's involved. So I'm just to have some pity, which they didn't. Is 105 the same as 103, Ms. Frederick? 103 and 105, yeah. They are the same. Ms. Frederick, who knew that you had $14,000 in cash? Both of them, Scope and Spike. Are those the only two people who knew about the cash? That's it. Did you have to pay late fees on the rental car? I can't remember. Did you have to move after this incident took place? Yeah, I did. I definitely moved. I didn't feel safe. I was scared. I was in shock. I was crying. I felt lost. So I basically left. I didn't want to be around anywhere, so I wanted to feel safe in leaving. It was the best thing for me to do. The only thing I could say, I was really grateful that he didn't kill me because he could have killed me, and I was stupid to even fight. So I was really scared and shocked. I could have been dead. Thank you, Miss Frederick. No further questions. Cross-examination, Mr. Lovell? Yes, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Miss Frederick. Good afternoon. My name is John Lovell. I have a few questions for you. Yes. You were the victim of a robbery, correct? Yes. And two people who you considered friends robbed you or caused you to be robbed. Is that right? Yes. All right. I can put you at ease. I'm not going to dispute that you were robbed that day. All right? Okay. I agree with you that you were a victim and it was not right what happened to you. Now, you became immediately suspicious that you were set up. Is that right? Not immediately. Afterwards. By him, the cell phone. Breaking the cell phone and stuff afterwards. Yeah. And I'm going to try my best to avoid arguing with you. But that was pretty soon after the event that he smashed his cell phone. Is that right? Yeah, right then and there, yeah, when I was talking to the security guard. Is immediate a fair word? Yes. Yeah, I would say yes. All right. And you were also, perhaps you were even suspicious when Mr. Dickerson reached in and opened the glove box, right? No. Why would I be suspicious at that time? Well, I think because the way he was acting, he was scared. He was panicking, pacing. So, he was scared. Mr. Dickerson was scared? Yeah. He was like, oh my God, don't hurt my girl. Oh my God. And he kept pacing and I was assuming he panicked. Did you ever complain that did you get upset with him that he showed the thief where the money was? Yeah, I was. Because you've spoken with the police on many occasions. Is that right? Yeah, they brought us in and to discuss what had happened. Pardon me? They what? They brought us in a location to discuss what was happening. They also was like, why would I have that much money on me? Did you speak to any police on March 20th, the afternoon that this happened? When I reported, yeah, they took us in. They was talking to us in the building for a very long time. A very long time. All right. And they separated us. They put you in one room and Mr. Dickerson in another room? Yes. Okay. And that was the day that you were robbed? Yes. Now, that was March 20th. About 11 days later, on April 1st, do you recall going to a meeting with some other people from law enforcement? I don't remember, but I know I went to a couple of meetings. All right. So the date is not critical. But this gentleman right here, Mr. Early, was he one of the people you met with? Yes. And would it be fair to say that it was within a week or two of the incident? Yes. All right. And you spoke to him about what happened? Yes. All right. And do you recall during your and since then, you've been in touch with representatives of the government? Is that right, ma'am? Yes. All right. And do you recall reporting that you were upset that Ladarius gave the money up? And by giving the money up, I mean that let me back up. Who's that? Is that Scope? Because I really know them by the gang name. I'm sorry. I'll try to remember to refer to him as Scope. I was using in court sometimes people's proper name, but I'll try to make it a point to use the name Scope. But if I do slip up, Scope is the name the nickname of Maxwell. Now, that's your nickname for Scope, right? Maxwell. Is that a name that's unique to him? Kind of a boyfriend and girlfriend name you had for him? Yeah, because he had long dreads. And who is that? What's that a reference to? He's a singer and he used to have long dreads. So that's kind of a pet name you had for him? Yes. And his real name is Ladarius Dickerson. Sometimes I may call him Mr. Dickerson. I'll try to make it a point to call him by his informal name, his nickname, Scope. Okay. Now, going back to the March 20th and these events, these curious happenings, we would start really with, the first thing is that he parked in the middle of the parking lot, and that struck you as unusual that he would go to get food and park in the middle of the parking lot instead of closer to the restaurant, right? Yes. That was unusual. And then this man that you described as wearing a black hoodie, is that right? Yes. Approached you and he initially asked you just for money, correct? Yes. And he looked in the car and there was a $5 bill in the center console that was visible. Is that right? Yes. And you handed him that $5 bill? Yes. All right. And you kind of hope, all right, this guy will leave me alone now, was your hope? Yes. But he didn't. He pulled open the door. Is that right? Yes. And he pulled a silver handgun on you? Yes. And he let you know that he wanted more money. Is that right? Yeah. And you told him, I don't have any more money. Yeah. And at some point in time, Scope returned. Is that right? Yes. And also, at some point in time, you grabbed this man's wrist or his arm that had the gun and you began to struggle with him. Is that right? Yes. And instead of helping you, let me stop for a moment. You felt like you could take that man. Is that correct? Yes, because he was small. He was small and you could have taken him. And you felt like if Scope had helped you, it would have been easy. Yes. Scope, you could take him on your own, but Scope was bigger than this man. Is that right? I would say so, but all I know is I'm fighting because I don't know what his intention is, and I'm gonna fight. Alright. And Scope didn't help you? No. Instead, Scope reached across the car. He came back from the driver's side. Is that accurate? Yes. Where he had left the door open. Yes. And he reached across the car and opened the glove box. Yes. And even then at that moment, you're just kind of, what are you doing? Yes. Help me and we can beat this guy and he won't get my $14,000. You're correct. Alright. And when the man saw the $14,000, how did you eventually let go of his wrist or did he just pull his arm free? What happened there, ma'am? I don't know. We were just wrestling. But quickly I guess he pulled. He had to because then he came to the passenger and all I know is that he kicked me out because he opened the door and he kicked me out while the car was moving. Now wait a second. The car was moving? I felt like it was moving because he kicked me out. Okay. I was fighting. I didn't want to leave. No, there's not a doubt in my mind, but you fought and you wanted to prevail and keep your money. Yes. So at some point in time, though, this man with the gun was no longer wrestling with you, and he left the car from the front passenger side. Is that right? He got inside and he took the car. I was out. So all I can remember is that I ran. I was screaming for help. It was really quick. Did he back away and circle around the car? I can't remember. All I know, it was fast. Alright, it was quick. Let me just get to the point of it, though. He had opportunities to shoot you, right? Yes. Yes. Now, when you went in and met with Agent Early and another officer named Murdoch within a couple of weeks after this, you were very eager to help. Is that right? Yes. Now, when you went in and met with Agent Early and another officer named Murdoch within a couple of weeks after this, You were very eager to help. Is that right? Yes. And you, as a matter of fact, you said you asked if you could meet with a sketch artist and give a detailed description of this person to get an artist rendition of this man to try to find him. Yes. Right? Yes. And at that point in time, you told them, that is, Agents Early and Murdoch, that you were not afraid of that robber. Is that right? I don't remember what I told them, but I was fighting him because I was trying to stop the whole situation. So I was afraid. I got robbed. I was screaming. My heart, I was in shock. And thinking about all of this is bringing back memories, and I feel stupid. I'm going to show you a clip. Were you aware that the agents were interviewing you? Yeah. I mean, they were recording you? Everything is recorded. We've come to expect that. I don't remember. Yeah, it's definitely recorded, and I believe they told me that. I'm going to ask Ms. Rogers to prompt a video of your interview to the 8-minute mark. Do you see the screen there in front of you, ma'am? Yes. I'm sorry. I spoke over that, Ms. Rogers. My apologies. Just back that up just maybe a couple of seconds before the 8-minute mark. You were telling the agents that you were not scared of that man. Is that right? I was fighting to stop him, so I'm going to do whatever I can at that time. So yeah. All right. Wouldn't you fight if somebody has a gun on you to try to save yourself? Only if I didn't think they were going to shoot me. Well, I guess But let me ask you a question because that's really the way it should work here. I should ask you questions. Let me ask you a question. Because the fact of the matter is, you told the agents that that man, quote, had an opportunity to shoot me. He was told not to shoot me. Do you remember telling the agents that? Yeah, because I know Spike probably had. At that time, he's the boss. So basically, because I wasn't killed. So he had to run it. If he said no, if he said yes, that's it. So you're confident that the man with the gun was told not, as you told the agents, that he was told not to harm you? Yes, because even later on with this whole situation, I realized, because I actually had spoke to Scope, and then I spoke to Spike. And Spike said, oh, he probably didn't have any bullets in it. So you thought that Spike knew that he was talking? He knew. He knew. He knew that there were no bullets in it? Because he told me. He said he probably didn't have any bullets in it. All right. Thank you very much, Ms. Frederick. Redirect? Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Rogers, could you please play that same video, if you wouldn't mind, from 7:30? I can't hear it. Thank you, Ms. Rogers. Was this interview a few weeks after the carjacking, Ms. Frederick? Yes. And like I was saying, he just looked like a normal person. He didn't look violent. But it was after, yes. Were you scared when he pointed the gun at you? Yes. At the time of the carjacking, did you know that the man with the gun was told not to harm you? No. Did you know about the carjacking before it happened? No. Were you part of planning the carjacking? No. Did the man with the gun tell you that the gun wasn't loaded? No. Did you know if the gun was loaded? No. Thank you, Ms. Frederick. No further questions. I have no further questions, Judge. All right. Ms. Frederick, you're excused.